Welcome, Johan Scanu. Welcome to the video. We're actually recording this video so you can watch this. So welcome to uh, finding out how to be the best version of you. Johan Scanu, my name is Neil Paulus, Onondaga Nation, clan, the whole deal. And I am apparently I'm the host today. And we got Jeremy. I know Spencer was supposed to be here, but he's on the road. So we're going to just I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll kind of get started into why we're here.
Yeah, I'll go next. Now scan up sa wiki. Nana guy ko guy hit nigga sanoda na guy dakpa na go say de. Jeremy Thompson, Onondaga Nation, Hot Clan. My given name guy ko guy hit, and yeah.
And I am Sean Looks Twice Ewing from the Oglala Nation and Chante Washdewi. And I just want to greet you all in a good way and welcome you to our meeting, our info meeting. And I'm excited to share all that we can with you about how you are able to create the life you want.
Hello, everyone. My name is Faith Holmes. I'm coming to you today from Arizona, but I live in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, from the Oglala Lakota community. And I'm very honored to be here today with this beautiful group of people.
So, welcome it's exciting that you're interested. We're really just kind of introduced what this is and what the training is and how we were drawn into it. And I've been doing work with this group for a few years now. But I think I'll let Jeremy start with like kind of how he got inspired in it, and then I'll share and expand on my experience of what I've experienced with this stuff, and then we'll go to Faith and Sean and have them kind of share what their roles are in all of this.
Yeah, all right. First of all, Nyala, thanks for having me here today. It's anytime I get to come into these spaces to create and to also share our own individual stories, it's always a blessing, an honor to be able to do that because we never know how we are inspiring the person beside us or whoever we become in contact with, and before and after us. So I guess where I would like to start with this kind of would start out with my sobriety, I guess 15 years ago. Actually, this past February, I don't know the date, but my sobriety journey started 15 years ago in February. And that's where it all kind of started for me, hitting on the spiritual, emotional, physical journey in this life, and how lucky and fortunate we are to be able to, wake up each day and being able to, wake up and see the beautiful things with our eyes, express the words that we need to get out. And I've really come to find out that it doesn't come easy. You have to put the work in. You have to look internally to yourself and yourself only. You can't worry about the distractions that are going on outside of that. And I think just at the end of the day, I think that it's really about entertaining, taking care of our own garbage or stuff, whatever you want to call it. There's so many things that you could probably intergenerational trauma. At the end of the day, I think it's really about taking care of that. The more you can take care of that and create this ultimate peace for yourself, has been the finding that I was able to kind of have and find and create for myself through sun dancing, fasting, all sorts of different kinds of just workshops or physical ceremonies or our own ceremonies. I've been able to just gather everything that I've been doing over this last 15 years and just trying to really harness it and, become who I am today. and continue to build on that. Fast forward to today, last few months ago, I was invited by Neil, long time relative, good friend in my community. And I was able to, meet the rest of, Faith and Sean that's on here today, through a workshop that was brought to Akwesasne. And I'm so fortunate. I feel so lucky. I just remember like it happened yesterday. I remember Neil asking, he's like, "Hey, you should for this course." And, timing was right. I heard it, felt it, seen it, smelt it. And I jumped on it. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And yeah, seeing Sean on Faith, walking, having walk into the space in Akwesasne. It's just one of those feelings that you have. You walk into a space and you get this, this vibration, this energy from certain people, and Faith. I think I connected with you, just feeling things and kind of just seeing. I'm able to see and be able to be more conscious, I guess, of my surroundings. And I was really drawn to your presence and what you had to present, along with what I had to learn with the elevated emotions. And matching that with the intention was something that I seen, quite. You were good at it. You're obviously, yeah, you expressed it, you showed it. And yeah, I think that I'm just looking to continue to add on to this thing called life, continuing to grow and be abundant, be in this growth mindset, I guess. I've come to realize that I have been majority, fixed mindset. But I've kind of grown out of it and become, into the more of a mindset of, growth mindset. And just wanting to expand and be better and be greater than just myself. I think that's about it in a nutshell. I could go into more detail, but I think we can save that for another time. So thanks. Am I going to pass it on, or are you going to pick someone, Neil?
Yeah. No, I'll go. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeremy. That's awesome. Always, it's always inspiring to hear someone else's story about how they get into this. I really enjoy the stories. And I look forward to hearing all your stories, how you kind of went on this journey. Uh, like Jeremy, I also had my professional lacrosse career. I got cut short, and that sent me down this really interesting path over 20 years ago about trying to understand what was going on, why, and asking all these different questions. And I started to evolve and got to a point where I was able to go back, continue playing again, but I still had these hurdles I was trying to maneuver and never really kind of understood what those hurdles were. If you look at what I was able to accomplish during that time, it's really interesting because it's like, wow, you did a lot. And I felt like that was always still something like tugging at me and pulling at me, and I really wasn't sure what it was. And about 12 years ago, I got into some training modules and different things of making change and shifting your thinking and understanding that it's not just the desire to want to learn something new, but also the desire and willingness to change. That was a really big part of what is it that you to maneuver, right? And that was getting all these different languages on how these people were looking at this stuff. And I started to see and hear, I've known this my whole life. I've known these, I've heard these things from my dad. And I'm still asking the question, was he part of a secret society or something? Because he was doing all these things that these organizations were saying, or was he just living into who we are as a people and our culture and doing those things and just applying it in a more modern way? And so I've just been kind of going through all this stuff and I think every time we go into certain spaces and I get exposed to those kind of secret society type things, I'm like, man, that's exactly what I grew up hearing my dad say and teaching me, and you know, putting things in your wallet and carrying them with you, and the energy those things create, right? Like that was all part of it. So I got really interested in this stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, this is reminding me about who we are as Haudenosaunee, is who we are as people, where are our people that are doing it? And all of a sudden, as soon as I asked that question, I was exposed to Emmy Lazar Mitchell and Diane Hill, like on the same day in the same place. It was crazy. And I'm like, wow. And they both were like, hey, you need to learn this. You need to be trained. So they actually became my mentors, and I've been trained in the processes that Diane Hill uses in healing. I've been trained and worked with Emmy as well on the things that she does. And it was really exciting when I heard, Tom Porter say that Diane and Emmy were doing things that our ancestors, in a way that our ancestors were doing, that he understood from his elders about how we conducted and how we maneuvered ourselves and how we engaged in what would be called the quantum, or this other space, in order to create health and wellness and to heal. I was just really interested and intrigued by it and dug into it. And at the time, I didn't really have a job. I was trying to do my PhD thing, and so I was able to really dig deep and do a deep dive into the Great Law, and then all of a sudden I start going down this rabbit hole with the condolence, and next thing you know, I get offered this job at Syracuse University to be the university ombuds, and I just had my anniversary on Friday, 7 years, and it's basically the great laws. I'm applying those things in that space of understanding what we went through in the condolence and how to maneuver through conflict and how we go in through those stages. And really what I found and understood in that condolence is we start with the physical, and then we go immediately to the energy. We go immediately to changing our thought process and our energy. Then we go through the rest of the things and emotional, and right. And so I was really looking at these stages within it, and it was so awesome to feel that relationship between the condolence, this idea of quantum, and that for thousands of years we've been saying change your energy, and that's the source of finding Gani Gohio, or that peace and living in that great space. And so I've been doing that for the last 7 years and infusing that into my work at Syracuse University and helping, thousands of people, and over 1,000 cases now, to help to maneuver through conflict. And they don't even know that I'm doing it. They don't even know that I'm applying these things. And through the process, obviously, as I'm working on all this stuff and writing things down and noting things, I get exposed to more and more stuff. And then all of a sudden, I get, during the pandemic, I was watching Gaia TV, and I start watching Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, my whole body is like just like pins and needles. I'm just like shivering, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this. Like literally, like everyone else in the house is like falling asleep watching it, like, oh my gosh, this guy. And I'm like, oh my, like I was just like on fire. I just watched episode after episode. I was so excited because he was basically saying all the things that I had been saying up to that point in my work. Um, and so I was really inspired by the work, and then he kind of lost me at meditation. And I was like, meditation, what? So I kind of faded off on it a little bit, to be honest with you. It was always in my head, though, that this guy has something. The knowledge is there. He's saying something. It sounds like Diane Hill. It sounds like Emmy. And then I started talking to Diane. She goes, "Oh yeah, Dr. Joe is awesome. He's blah, blah, blah." So then she starts talking about So then we're talking about Dr. Joe, and we're getting trained together on these other things and how to do different stuff with me and Diane. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that she was so excited about Dr. Joe and this stuff. And then I had a few, I'm like, okay, I guess I should probably go to one of these events that he does, and kept pushing it off. And then a Mohawk person went, and I was like, huh. Okay. And then another person I know goes. And then another person I know goes. And then I got like jealous, like, how come they're going to this? And I've known about this and I haven't gone yet. And I got all fired up. And these are Haudenosaunee people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do this too for me. So I made a commitment to go. I bought the tickets, was all set to go. And 6 days before I'm ready to leave, or 5 days before I'm supposed to leave, I get a message from my supervisor saying, you can't go. You got to stay at SU. We just had an election. You cannot leave campus. You are in charge of maintaining the space on campus and keeping people help feeling like there's a, so we need you, crisis control. You can't leave. So there I was, ticket in hand, can't go. So I made a decision then that I was going to go. And then so that summer, as soon as I was able to travel, I went to Denver, went to a long event. And admittedly, maybe had meditated probably 6 or 7 times my whole life. 5 of those coming at another meditation training that I went to that I didn't realize was a meditation training. And I was like, right? Um, and since the conference, I've only missed a few weeks. It's been almost, what, 9 months since I was at the conference, something like that. And I've only missed, like, if I add up all the days I've missed, I've only missed a few weeks, which is amazing to think of when I went from zero to like, F1 racer, 290 miles an hour down the straightaway. Like, I'm doing this thing. Because what I learned through the process, what I learned and heard those things, had been exposed to the knowledge, I've been immersed in this way of thinking. And then when I saw what happened to those that were there at the conference and to myself, and I felt it, I was all in. I knew that that was the key, that this whole process of understanding that when we say we sit at the edge of the woods and get our minds right, this is really what it's about. It's about getting and preparing your mindset before you open your mouth to say the thing, and to feel the energy of what those words that are going to come out. And we don't always know what those words are going to, what that message is going to be, but if we are centered in that process, they come out right, right? And so we know from the stories about the peacemaker when he sat on the edge of the woods and started his fire and waited to be called in, and he would share that message because he was centered and he was in a meditative state, and when he opened his mouth, the things that he needed to say were said. And that inspired others. And so I'm excited to hear Jeremy say he was inspired by it, and I too am so inspired by this work. And I hear and see how it fits into our stories. You sometimes you have to do a little work to do that, but I can really see a lot of the alliances, and it's helped me be more connected to those stories. It's helped me be more compassionate and thoughtful about what were those people going through. What was it like to be Tadadaho and be scared? The way some people tell the story, he wasn't scared, but in other stories I've heard that he is, right? And so how do you humanize these stories and become the different characters of those, and incorporate the energy that went into that space? And what does it mean to have your hair combed and to clear that energy and stand you up straight and align you into a straight line? It's just an amazing thought process to think about how all those things start to work together. And the meditations just do that. They just literally bring you in alignment and they line everything up. It's so cool. And this training, and I'll let Faith and Sean explain the training, but it's a part of that process. It's just like our stories. It helps you think about an idea about how you could be in that space. And when you are in that space, we an individual becomes we. When we do the work, like Jeremy was saying, we become gratitude. We become community. We become stronger together because of the work that we do for ourselves, because we show up different in every space we arrive in. We become that elevated person. I wish I knew this when I was 10, 15, 20, going into my pro career, because I would have been such a different player. I would have had a different career. And Jeremy's down because he's probably feeling it now because he's still in his career and he's getting to do it. I'm jealous that he's still in his career and now he's applying this stuff. And I can only imagine what my career would have been like, or my time, because I've even done it now at 51. I played last year, and I was applying these things, and literally I could feel my energy vibrating before I stepped on the field. I could see the entire multiple plays in a row before they even happened. I knew exactly what was going to happen. It was just insane. And it was just literally connecting to my energy, and understanding the process and applying these things that I was learning through all these different modules between Diane and Emmy, and this stuff and some of the other stuff that I've gone through. So it's just all been cumulative to arrive here today to say it's awesome. It worked for me. It's working for Jeremy. If it works for you, awesome. That's amazing. If it doesn't, that's okay too. At least you're exposed to a new way of thinking and a couple new thought processes, and maybe you pick one or two things and carry that with you the same way I did when I first heard this stuff, what was that? 7 years ago. 6 years ago, 6 years ago, right? So I heard this stuff and I was like, and I put it on the back burner and then it showed up and all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm just going to try this out. So that's okay too. However it fits for you. It's just the opportunity that I see. Or if there's people in your life that you care about or you think could benefit from thinking about things in their world in a slightly different way, that's really the change, right? And for those of you that know me, part of the reason why I quit playing is I was forced into retirement because I had an illness issue, and I was coughing and struggling with that, and literally healed in 20 minutes, one meditation, gone, done. So that's the amazing thing that you can literally, if you apply these things, instantaneous healing. It is amazing. And you may have a different experience, but if you go to enough of this stuff, you hear other people saying the same thing, and you're like, "What? Nah, yeah, yeah, it's the real deal." So with that, I'll let Faith and Sean explain what you're going to go through this in, in what 2 weeks? 20, what are we, 2 weeks away? Yeah, so I'll let you 3 weeks. So let them explain to you a little bit about the training, how they got into it, and what you'll get to experience.
Hello, I guess I'll pick up here. What Neil mentioned earlier about going to Denver this summer, I actually met Neil there. It was actually a Dr. Dro advanced week-long retreat, and I was there with Faith, and we had taken a total of, how many did we, 12?
Yeah.
We had 12 community members from the Lakota Nation, Wind River with the Northern Arapaho and Eastern Shoshone. And we had Navajo, Hopi, Mohawk, our Mohawk sisters there. But we had 6 nations represented there for the week-long retreat. And these were actually people who were very active in the community and bringing this work in their community. And when I say this work, it's actually the program that we teach. The program is actually called Change Your Mind, Create New Results, and it was created by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And this program came into the Lakota community in November of 2022. And there's all these things I could share about all of the synchronicities that happen, what people call coincidences that brought me there to the training. But during that that short 3-day weekend, we learned the program that our attendees are going to learn. And I was able to apply everything to my life. And I received personal healing, emotional and physical, spiritual, mental, all these different levels, just by applying the program to my life and the things that I learned. I continue to apply everything to my life today. And it's true, once you change your mind, you change your energy around the way you think, you actually see those changes in your life. You see the life you want start showing up. And so that's how we say, or you hear people say, you get to create the life you want. And it's all about changing your thinking and changing your energy around how you're thinking. And we have been blessed over the past year and a half to go into communities like Wind River Community. We've had 3 trainings there, and my Lakota community for my people on the reservation, and in Rapid City in South Dakota. We've had trainings there. We've done the trainings in Aguasasne for the Mohawk. We've gone to Hopi and done their trainings there as well. So just within these 4 communities now, we have reached hundreds of people, and we are so excited by the transformations in everybody's lives that we see. Now, there are other modalities that are taught as far as like changing your life or healing or making changes to your life that you want. But as my sister Faith will share with you, this is like the most significant program that we have seen as far as the changes that you're able to see, and it's a 15-hour program. And so I would just like to say that I myself am actually in the process of becoming a facilitator for this program, and I'm excited and looking forward to becoming a facilitator. And I know there are other people who have expressed the interest in doing so too. So we are encouraging people, especially like Neil and Jeremy, hopefully for the future, soon. But I am so inspired by this. You know, you experience something and you want it for everybody you love. You know, you want everybody you know and everybody you love and everybody you care about to experience the same thing. And so I feel like this program is the stone that is dropped. And what comes from what you learn is the ripple that ripples out to your family, your community, and on. So I am excited to have you here. And I always tell everybody, you know, the way spirit world works and the way spirit works, I tell everybody, if you came across this, regardless of how it was, you know, somebody said you have to see this, or you came across a flyer, or you came across it in your email or social media, um, it's being shown to you for a reason. And when you come to our training, you're exactly where you're meant to be at that time. So I look forward to seeing you all. And I'll turn you over to my sister Faith.
Do you want to share how you came to the work?
Okay. So briefly, I was teaching. I live in Surprise, Arizona, and I was a third grade teacher during COVID. And when the world shut down, my teacher team worked 72 hours straight to create a distance learning program for our students who were now out of the campus and into, you know, learning at a distance. So we created a platform, and we had 14 to 16-hour days teaching from home and working from home to provide the learning experience that our children need. And I just reached a point, you know, the world shut down, life was different, just overwhelmed with all the stresses and everything with life. And I've had a little meditation app on my phone. So I started doing meditations for the first time in my life to calm myself and center myself. And my daughter started sending me videos of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so I liked his videos because they were guided meditations. And I honestly didn't start just listening to them. I would just do one every now and then. But as Spirit World works, when the world opened up again in 2022 and I was able to go home after 2 years, I stopped by my cousin's house and she said, wow, I just came from this amazing three-day retreat in Denver with Dr. Joe Dispenza. Do you know who he is? And I was like, I know who he is. So she said, there's this program and there's this thing going on, and we just want to bring him to our community. And that was in July, that when I had seen her. Well, in November was whenever they actually brought the program to our community, a program that was initially created for corporations. But there's just so much more I could add to this. But yes, so that is how I came to the work. And I was so inspired that I've just been a part of all the trainings in our community and helping do the work and expand the work. And we all know that our Indigenous people are who the world is going to rely on. So when it comes down to it, you know, we are the keepers of our lands and our mother. And so we have to, you know, reconnect, bring everybody together. And so as a part of Tribe to Tribe, our program, you know, we say we connect to empower. And so far we've connected the nations that we work with, and we want to continue to connect with everybody and empower us all. So go ahead.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Neil, for the invitation. This is so exciting to be here. So I, like many of you who may be watching this, have gone through a dark night of the soul at some point in time in our lives. And I really, there was a day where I wasn't sure I could go on, truly. And I was an entrepreneur. I was living in Washington, D.C. at the time, and one of the businesses that I had had bankrupted me. And I just didn't know how to pull out of this very dark place that I was in. And a sister friend from New York City, well, not New York City, but New York, sent me a talk called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I really needed to break the habit of being myself. I was miserable in life and I was focusing all of my energy and attention on everything that was going wrong in my life instead of some of the beautiful things that were unfolding. And so I bought a book by this guy by the name of Dr. Joe Dispenza that you've heard all of us talk about, called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I just knew that I was the only person that could fix me. And so in reading this book, I really learned like how it is that I have to learn to choose to look at situations in my life and how I can always change the way that I think. And if I can change the way that I think, then I can change my actions. And if I choose my actions, I will choose the way that I feel. And one of the things that this work really does is helps us understand how it is that we can go ahead and change our thoughts. And I can't control every thought that goes through my head because science shows that we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. But what I do have choice over is how long I focus my energy and attention on that thought. And I'm capable of changing that thought. So when I was going through my dark night of the soul, I could look off to the left and I could tell you every terrible thing that was happening in my life. But I also could choose to look off to the right and tell you about a beautiful sunset, or having time with a sister friend, or my nephew that was just born, right? So I get to choose where I put my energy and my attention. So I decided to take a very deep dive into this work, and I heard that this guy by the name of Dr. Joe Dispenza taught a 15-hour corporate training called Change Your Mind, Create New Results. And I wanted to become a trainer. I knew that this work healed me, and the people that I met who had also gone through this work, they were healing. And I'm a little bit skeptical of things, so I kind of came into this work with a healthy amount of skepticism. But time after time after time, I was shown that this is the real deal. And it was interesting because I grew up in a spiritual community that said joy is a better cure for your illnesses than 100,000 medicines. And I believed that kind of, but I thought that it was esoteric and spiritual and somewhere outside of me. But what Dr. Joe Dispenza is doing through science is he's helping prove to the T that quote, that joy, if you focus your energy and attention on joy, you can heal yourself. And people are healing themselves of incredible maladies, things that people say are incurable, because we have this area of our brain called the limbic brain. And this area of the brain floods your body with emotions. So if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're, jealous, if you're depressed, your limbic brain, your chemical brain, sends a signal down your spinal cord to your adrenals, and then your body is flooded with all of these stress hormones. And we know 100% today that stress causes disease in our bodies. And the interesting thing is Dr. Joe took a look at this and he said, so if we know that stress causes, not if, that we know, stress causes disease in our body, if we changed the way we think, could we create health? And after thousands and thousands and thousands of scientific research, He and his team, he works with the University of Southern California, San Diego, is proving without a fact that we can change our gut biome in 7 days.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Thank you. And so here we are, like the power lies within. The power lies within us. And so one of the things that I've had the incredible blessing of doing is working with Indigenous communities, all the Indigenous communities that Sean talked about earlier. And we just last week, or within the last 7 days, our sister Susan from the Hopi Nation just got certified. So she is the first Indigenous woman or Indigenous person to be certified as a NeuroChange Solutions consultant. So she can go and teach this work, this Change Your Mind, Create New Results workshop that we're inviting all of you to. We're going to be together the weekend of February 13th, 14th, and 15th, and we hope you all will come and join us. We teach 5 modules. Real quickly, just a quick overview. The first is, how do you change? So many people want to change, but who has ever taught us how? Has anyone ever taught you how it is that you can change your life? Well, this 15-hour workshop helps you do that, and it gives you 4 tools and teaches 2 models. And if you put into practice what you learn in this work, you will transform your life. So one of the models says that your personality creates your personal reality. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So the present personality sitting there today called you has created the present personal reality called your life. And most people want to change their lives without them themselves changing, and it just doesn't work. If you want to change your life, you're going to have to change. And then we go into the neuroscience of the brain and the brain and body connection, how all things are one. And there are these 3 aspects of the brain, the neocortex and the limbic brain and the cerebellum. And these 3 brains take you from thinking to doing to being. We then go into, in order to change, we have to learn to be greater than our environment, greater than our bodies, and greater than time. And how many of us allow a coworker or a family member or traffic or historical trauma or our family and neighbors to dictate how we feel within ourselves? What this work does is it takes the reality of our life, but it makes sure that we're good internally within us so that all of those other issues that are very real in our lives don't dictate how we feel inside. Then we look at living in stress and survival or living in creation. And we know the scientific model shows that people, the average American, spends 70% of their time in stress and survival. Well, we want to spend much more of our time in creation. And then we learn about brain waves and how we can get in the right brainwave state to create the life we want to live instead of the life that we've inherited. And many of us are victims to our present reality. And this work is helping teach us how to really get out of stress and survival, move into creation, and create the life that we want to live. So this is what all of us have been talking about this evening, and we're really excited to be bringing it to the Onondaga Nation and every community that I've had the honor and privilege to be able to work within tells me what you're talking about is not new to our people, whether it's the Eastern Shoshone or Northern Arapaho or the the Hopi or the Lakota or the Mohawk. This is what our people have always known. You're just teaching the science behind it. And so we really hope you'll come and join us. Seating is limited, so sign up sooner than later. We will have to cut registration off at some point. However, I'm sure it won't be the first training that we do within your community. I'd like to take a moment to thank Give to Give. Give to Give is a national nonprofit organization that funds this work within tribal communities. And Tribe to Tribe is an initiative of Give to Give. So you'll hear both names, Give to Give and Tribe to Tribe, talked about. But one of the reasons why my mother moved to Pine Ridge, South Dakota, 35 years ago. And there was a suicide crisis happening on Pine Ridge about 15 years ago, which many people are aware of. And I'd seen a video that Give to Give put out about the way that this work was impacting prisoners in some of the worst Mexican jails. And I just thought, my gosh, that to see the way they're healing, what would happen in Pine Ridge Jail if people were receiving this information. So that's how Give to Give got involved. And we're just really honored to be able to work with your nation. As Sean mentioned, she's in training to become a consultant. She'll be a consultant this year soon. And the two of us will be together the weekend of the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and we really hope you'll come and join us. And I'll turn it back over to Neil and Jeremy if you have any questions or if you want to add anything to what we've shared.
Neil, do we want to open it up to anyone else on the call? Barry or Shauna? If you guys have any,
Sure. Yeah, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer any questions you might have about what we just talked about.
I did register. I'm really excited for this. This is Shauna. Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late. I knew this was happening, but I couldn't find the link on the social media. So I had to text somebody and like, do you have the link? So I apologize for being late, but what I did hear you talk about, I'm very excited about. I work with students and in our school district, and I'm excited for this opportunity to learn and grow. I did register. I didn't get an email stating that my registration went through. So how do I know that I'm registered? I guess I don't want to miss out.
Shauna, what's your last name?
Booth, Booth.
We'll look it
Yeah,
up
she's
now
in
and let you know.
she's in the list.
Oh,
You're
awesome.
registered.
Yeah, you're registered so far. We haven't had to hit the wait list threshold yet. So everyone that signs up from this point on is still set. We're probably about 2/3 through capacity right now. So we still have some seats, but I do know that there's other people from other Haudenosaunee communities that want to go. So after this, we're gonna share this video on social media so other people from the Haudenosaunee might start signing up. So if you know of anyone, Shauna, in your family that might be interested, or even some high school students, right? So if you're thinking
Yeah.
of a couple high school kids that might benefit from shifting they're like, oh, they would be so good if they just shifted the way they think about something, right? Like that would be a great person to go. And it's, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's, it's pretty cool. There's a whole youth group that goes to these retreats with the training that's involved, and they celebrate the youth that shows up. And it's just really cool to see these young people really kind of thinking about, wow, how does just shifting the way I look at something a little bit change how I respond in that? And then that impacts those around them. And then all of a sudden their life is different. They're like, wow, how'd that happen? And their dreams start coming true. It's pretty cool, right? And they start realizing all these other things that they can become a part of.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll definitely
Yeah.
I'll definitely put it out there and try to get some youth involved. It would be really, really great if they're available. I know it's the beginning of our winter break, so I'm not sure if any of them have plans, but I'll definitely
Sure.
put it out there. Yeah. Is there any specific dress, I guess? Should we dress comfortably? Will we be
Just
sitting? We'll be on the floor? I just want to make sure.
Just
Comfortably.
comfortably.
Okay. Good to know.
And if I could just make a little amendment here and just an announcement. We are not, this actually, we do not yet offer the training for anyone under the age of 18.
Yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yet,
Oh,
we're
okay.
close to it.
We're close. We're trying to
We're
get
close.
there.
But we're hoping soon that we'll be able to do 15 and over. So
Okay.
that's on its way, but just right at this moment, it's 18 and over.
Well, let me know when. Maybe we can get you to come right for our students then. It would be awesome.
And the dress is casual. You're most, it's at the firehouse, so it's temperature wise, it's pretty comfortable in there. We're generally, we're up and down and sitting and standing and doing other things, but you're not really going to be lying down all that much, but it's pretty casual. So just, whatever winter attire you feel like wearing for those 3 days to feel comfortable, is fine.
And we will be
Bring an
doing,
extra layer if you want to.
yeah, exactly. Definitely layer. And we will be doing a few different kinds of meditation at this particular workshop. That's one of the tools that we teach. And we have an opportunity to do walking meditations that is optional on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So if you want to experience a walking meditation, you can join us. That's on the flyer as well.
Jeremy, explain that one.
Walking meditation.
Yeah.
Um, well, we'll get together first thing in the morning. I think we have it noted on the time sheet there. It's going to be Saturday morning and Sunday morning before the event starts. So I think we had it listed as 7 a.m. Is that correct? But yeah, we'll all gather. We'll get the link for the meditation. You'll have to download it, and then we'll all start at a central location and then basically listen to the prompt meditation on what it's going to tell you to do, and you can kind of just sporadically go out wherever you're going to go. You don't have to stick with someone. I say that, like, everything that was mentioned on a call here tonight when it comes to our own journeys, our own personal journeys, and that all looks different. It's not going to be the same when it comes to the individual standing next to you or across from you. So when it comes to that meditation, it's pretty cool. I thought it was it actually was kind of hard in the beginning. I didn't quite know what to do, but I went with it, and I went off onto my own journey. I ended up out in the woods and was in some bushes, and yeah, it's great. It's a great way to kind of collectively start together, but then expand out, and then come back together again toward the end of it. So,
And that will be outside. It is winter, so boots, you're going to want to layer up to be outside. What is that one? About 45 minutes, something like that, 55 minutes? 55. So you will be outside for a little bit. There are a few moments when you stand still. Sometimes people will bring blindfolds to cover their eyes to kind of help them get into some of the spaces and the prompts that you're being asked to do. So you can bring blindfolds if you want. Sometimes people will just wear sunglasses, but definitely plan to be outside for an hour. So, dress warm for that if you're going to do the walking meditation for sure. And headphones. Some people say wired headphones just so you have a better connection. I've never had a problem or issue with using my Bluetooth headphones, but some people say wired is safer because then you don't get the intermittent or it cuts out and comes back.
And the walking meditations are optional. They're
Yeah.
optional. Yeah, they're not required, but if anybody, would like to experience the walking meditation, then you're free to join.
And we are catering the event. So there's dinner for Friday night and then a continental breakfast and lunch and an afternoon snack. So we will be attending to not only your mental, your emotional, your spiritual, but also your physical needs.
Jeremy didn't know when he first, the first training, he didn't know that was walking meditations, and I was like, "You should come." And he showed up, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And now whenever he comes into town, he's like, "Yo, let's go do a walking meditation." So we went to a park, over the fall and wandered around some part. There's three of us walking around the park, random with blindfolds on and people looking at us weird, and it's all good. It's fun, it's kind of an exciting space to be in, and it feels really cool, you know. Awesome questions, though. Any other questions that you might have about the event? No. So just so you know, as when you're registered, another thing about the registration, you will get an email the week before, the Monday before the event, and you're going to be asked to confirm your attendance. Please respond to that email. Once again, please respond to that email and confirm. Because if you do not confirm a few days later, if there's people on the wait list, we'll go to the wait list and invite people from the wait list. So there might be people waiting to come in. And if you know you're unable to make it, please respond and confirm that you're attending. Because if you don't, we'll start inviting people from the wait list.
I would also just kind of piggyback onto that and say, if you have family or friends who are thinking about it but aren't 100% sure, I would recommend you register because like Neil said, we're going to send an email out asking for confirmation. And then if they can't come, then cancel, but at least then there's a spot held for them.
Yeah.
I will definitely share that out. And it's
Thank you.
18 and older then, right?
Yes.
18 and up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Good.
Well,
Awesome.
I've always tried to meditate, and my mind is always going 90 miles an hour, and
We got you.
so I would try to meditate, and I'm thinking you got to be like quiet and going and like I guess that commercialized meditation, I guess, and my son would say, "Mom, there's multiple forms of meditation," and he's like, "Find one that works," and well, I haven't found one that works, so I'm hoping this gets me somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really exciting. And how old is your son?
He's 28.
Oh, awesome. So, one of the things that I would say is Dr. Joe says there's no such thing as a bad meditation. So even when that monkey mind is kind of trying to run the show, you're gaining information. Every single meditation you do, you gain some piece of information. So these meditations are guided, and I can't wait for you to experience. We're going to actually, before we close out tonight, we're going to do a guided meditation. So if you're able to stick around, see how it goes for you.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
then just to know also for a lot of anybody else, if this training isn't only about meditation, it's one of the tools that we offer with our program, but there are several valuable tools you use that you are able to use to apply to your life and to apply to the way that you think. And so it's not only a strictly meditation for those of you who are like, I'm not really feeling meditation, but meditation is one of the tools that we offer. And so, yeah, just to let you know.
Barry, do you have anything that you want to add or any questions?
Yeah, well, I just want to ask Faith, is it Shauna?
Sean.
Sean, okay. I had the pleasure to meet Wilmer Nesmith from Pine Ridge. He passed away, but do you guys know of him? He was the Lakota one of their spiritual leaders. He did sun dances, and he also was a professor, I believe, at is it Lakota University?
Yeah, at the Lakota College.
Yeah, he was a professor there, and very, very spiritual person.
Very well.
And do you know? Have you met him before, or he's passed away? But do you know of him?
Yes, I know of him.
Oh, you know of him? Okay. So a friend of mine who is was a let's see, he was the president of the Spiritual Church of Toronto, and I met him through work. And I used to work as a executive host at a native casino. But we ended up being friends, and he was telling me his connection with the Lakota people. And I actually went out to to Pine Ridge to do well, not participate, but witness a Sundance that Wilmer's son did. And I forget his name, the Lakota name for sun. That's what Wilmer's calls himself. But it was very, very interesting. A lot of the things you said resonated with me. You know, things that show up on your timeline. There's a reason for it. I certainly believe that. And when I heard about your program through another Onondaga person that did it in Akwesasne, and I said, "Wow, that sounds something that's very interesting." You know, hopefully, she gave me the name. You know, and I looked up the name, the doctor, was it Pendanza? You know, and read some of the things about him, and I'm looking forward to the program in February. But a lot of it resonates, as I mentioned before, with the things that I've been doing. I actually, when I returned from British Columbia, from playing lacrosse out there, I went to a similar program. It's called the Jose Silva Mind Control.
Mm-hmm.
And similar concepts of what you're doing, healing,
Yep.
and through meditation, positive meditation. So I did that in Toronto. That was like in the early 90s. And a lot of the concepts that I learned there, I continue, right? And it really adds to what our bodies are really capable of doing and resonating, and the relationship that your body can have with spirit, nature, the environment. Right. And it's great that you'll be talking about that. And I truly believe everyone has that ability to connect at whatever levels. Right. And we all have our own path. We all have our own journey, and things come to us at different times. But I'm looking forward to your program. And that is something that I think would put into, as you say, my current wheelhouse that I do daily. So looking forward to it. Thank
We're
you.
looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you, Barry.
Okay.
Yeah, and the walking meditation as a tool. What's interesting when I went to the longer retreat event, it kind of helps you understand how to take the things you learned in this class and apply it to when your eyes are open. So it's not just about meditating and having your eyes closed and being in a space, and then you wake up and spend your day kind of on autopilot doing the same things you did before. It kind of gets you to like do all the things and apply the thought processes and all the things that you'll learn, like I said, as another tool to do it with your eyes wide open. And it kind of gets you in that space. It's really cool. So, yeah. All tools, all awesome, all helpful.
And
Any other question?
I would just
Okay.
add to that this course was created, it's evolved, but this course was created like 12, 14 years ago. So, and that was at a time it was created for corporations. Meditation was a dirty word back then. Now, companies create meditation rooms. So there's very little other than the optional walking meditation. Very little time is actually spent of the 15 hours in meditation. So if there's anyone who's watching this or is here on the call with us who's like, I can't meditate and I'm not going to something that's meditation focused, I promise you it's not even 3% of the 15 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really about your mindset and how you can create the life you want to live instead of everything outside of you controlling you.
Cool. Jeremy, you got anything else you want to add? There's not any other questions?
No, I think we covered all our bases. Like you guys all said, I'm super excited to have this come to our hometown community, and I just know that what it has done for me, the benefits it's given me, and Neil, like you said in your story, you wish you had this information when you were 15, 16, 17 years old, and what you would have done with it. I believe the same thing. So that's what I'm most excited about, the next generation, our youth coming up, and everybody really. I just know it's going to be a great, grand thing for our communities and connecting us all to something greater. So, um, yeah, I think that's about it. I think we can close it out.
Yeah, so we're gonna do the meditation. If you want to stay on, you're welcome to stay. I'm probably gonna turn my camera off because I'm gonna close my eyes and do whatever. Um, but if you want to stay for the meditation, you're welcome to. I think just to respect Dr. Joe and his, this is his livelihood and his content. We're gonna stop the recording for the meditation just to respect his stuff and what he does. But if you go to the website and create a profile, you can actually purchase some of the meditations and a bunch of the other trainings and different things on his website too, if you're interested. Also, with your registration, you'll also get a workbook too. So we'll have pens there, but make sure you bring if you want to bring other additional paper or something to help you keep notes or nothing, but you're actually going to get a book that you can keep with you and go through the process.
And tonight we're going to do generating gratitude as a meditation to close out this evening. And again, the weekend is February 13th, 14th, and 15th. And it's offered free to your community, which is incredible because corporations spend thousands of dollars to bring this workshop to their businesses. So this is a true gift. From give to give and tribe to tribe. So please take advantage of it because it really is changing people's lives all around the world. Neil, if anybody has any questions, who do they contact?
They can reach out to me, njpowless@gmail.com. So njpowless@gmail.com if you have any additional questions or you want to email me. Just put tribe to tribe in the subject. So I know kind of what the email is about and I can answer any questions you might have. And feel free to share the flyer, this video. We're going to post this online through social media, so you can share the video as well with anyone that you think might be interested.
Thank you.